CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN in the shop. CHICKEN.
Guys, the Chickens here, back today with another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we're going to go over the Chickens' day one plan for Warships. Now, if you guys don't know this, I'm going to be going live Monday morning at 3 or 4 a.m. Eastern time, whenever it comes around this time. I think it's 3 a.m., unfortunately. But make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell because I don't do live streams often, so you want to make sure you get notified if you want to see it. And we're just going to push like crazy off the start. It's going to be a lot of fun. It always is. But yeah, so in today's video, I wanted to go over how we're going to start off this season. Also, make sure you're using the code CHICKEN in the shop if you are grabbing instant training for the season. In just a couple days, I'm giving away $100 worth of instant training to everyone that's been using the code for the last month or two. And yeah, to enter that, all you gotta do is use the code when you buy something, and then just let me know that you did in the comments below. Okay, that being said, let's take a look here. Now, my plan right out of the gate is I'm going to max landing crafts, of course. I'll probably max the gunboat, or at least upgrade it, 3 or 4 tiles, and just kind of see where that gets us. But we want to go straight to heavies. I think this tier is unlocked already once you start. I'm not sure, but either way, we're gonna unlock heavies, max them out for sure. Unlock true damage, max that out, and then we're gone. Then we're out. Then we're going straight to 3. We're going medics, 3 engines, troop health, and it actually looks like heavy Zuka is going to be the starting meta. So we're going to go troop health, Zukas, and then I think we're going to work our way up the top. The top path, getting brick, boom mines, medkit, cannons, and the 4th engine. So I feel like if you're able to get the 4th ER in the first day and really just kind of focus all your keys into doing that, that's probably going to be the best way to do things overall this season. We'll see how it kind of pans out, but that's kind of the Chickens plan right off the start. So yeah, I would definitely recommend, it's always important to get to what we call tech ride a little bit at the start. But I think once we get to 4, things are really going to slow down in that department. So, I mean, like, my plan is probably to get to 4 ERs, but we want to make sure that we have some defenses to go along with that. Like, we want to have boom cannons, we want to have building damage, we probably want to have all the defenses maxed out at that point. Because if you're going to 4 engines and you don't have anything, it might not, because then you're just going to get torn apart by rocket choppers. Yeah, so it's you're going to want to have a couple defenses kind of at the point that you're ready to go to 4. I mean, if you're super early and get to 4 right out of the gate, that's probably going to be best. But for most people, they're probably not going to have that many starting keys. I know I'm not. So yeah, my plan is to go with the... Now, it's going to be tricky off the start because we don't have... Oh, also, we obviously need to get flares too, so, I mean, that's going to eat up some keys. So, yeah, we're going to be stuck at 4 ER probably for a couple days, unfortunately, most of us. Obviously, the optimal path, what I first went over, is taking the top path, going to 4. That's probably going to be the best for most people starting. But, yeah, I think it's going to look something like... It's going to be kind of, you almost want to unlock everything, but just not right away. There's always a... There's always a good way to do things. There's always an optimal path to take, and I think this season is really going to show that. So, yeah, right off the start, definitely want to... it's going to be interesting off the start, too, because we don't have flares until we get past the 30 ER. Now, most people are probably going to be able to get them on the first day or very close to it, but there's going to be a lot of battles where we're simply just, just throwing out heavies. That's going to be it. So... what that means in terms of base design is you're gonna want to put your engines towards the farthest point from the landing areas, and then you're simply going to have your defenses trail away from that. So say we're looking at this as the say we're looking at something like this as the 3 engine map. So we're gonna want to kind of cluster our engine rooms, maybe spread them out a little bit, but our defenses at that P2 zone are going to kind of... Actually, we can just bring up machine guns. They're going to go like this. They're going to trail off away from the engine rooms. We're going to pull it's not a ton of science to it, but yeah, we're going to want to pull the troops away from the engine rooms, because without flares, they're just going to go to the nearest building, right? So That's what we're going to want to do there. And then from there on out, I mean, once we get heavy Zuka, flares might not be super important, but we're definitely going to want them for heavies and Zukas. For all heavies, obviously flares are super important because you're just simply flaring from engine to engine to engine. That's all you're doing. Heavies and Zukas, you can be a little bit more spread out, but you're still going to want to flare the engine by the end of the attack. That's going to be what how you win the battle. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a base race pretty much the whole season. So what that means is getting Brick is probably going to be a good idea. So having that Battle Lords, having her maxed out, I'd say if you can get Brick, Zukas, flares, and boom cannons, you're probably okay at that point to just simply take the top path and just get out of 4 yard. Maybe skip mortars, building damage. I mean, if we look at what we're using heavies and Zukas, right? If we get the building damage, what are the machine guns going to start ripping through heavies? No. The cannons, yeah, it's going to be important, but I don't think defense is going to be that important right off the start. Once we get a little bit later on and we get rocket launchers and things like that, yeah, that's where building damage really comes into play. And we start using different troop strategies. Rocket chopper, heavy rocket chopper might come into the mix for a little bit, but that's where we'll see building damage really be important. But right off the start, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. So that might be a techno that we want to leave and come back for. But yeah, I think that's basically my day one plan, is to go machine gun, heavy, troop damage. We definitely want the troop damage, especially in a heavy rush meta. That's going to be extremely important. More important than building health or anything like that. But I would pass on the building health for right off the bat, because it's not going to make a huge difference at heavy rushing at 2 and 3 engines. I think you're going to get more value out of, like, say, here's the choice you have to make. Obviously, if you can get everything, get everything. But if you have to make the choice between Zukas and building health, I would probably lean towards Zukas, because then at least you can spread your troops out. You can attack both sides of the base at the same time. Versus if you get building health and you're using heavies and you got to rush everything, you don't have any flares, then it doesn't really matter how much building health you have, because at this point, especially early on in the season, if you're using the wrong attack strategy, your attacks are simply just going to be slower, especially if you don't have flares and you're just kind of letting the heavies fly out and do their thing. So, yeah, things like that I think are important. Again, it's kind of it's kind of overblown a little bit, because within a few days, it's like, okay, we're probably going to have everything and maxed out most of the defenses up until 4 yards. But then, yeah. So that's my day one plan. I really wanted to focus on the kind of the optimal strategy coming out of the gates. Yeah, I think that's important because like we say every season, it's always important. It's so important to get off to a good start in Warships. If you make a couple early tech tree decisions that are wrong, it can essentially ruin the whole season, and it kind of sucks that that's how it works, but that's how it works. So, yeah, if you can have a little bit of a plan, then I think we'll get you guys started off on the right foot, hopefully. And then from there, I mean, once we start looking past 4, things get pretty interesting. We got rocket launchers like pretty early, and they're not that hard to get. They're actually on a pretty decent, to go critter troop damage rocket launchers. That's not going to set you back that far at all. I think it's going to be more focused on base riding at this point. I think we're going to get rocket launchers. We're going to max them out. We want to get the damage amp. Then we're going to move forward, and we're going to skip warriors and tanks, grab the multi-node, and this is actually tricky because we have tanks, gunboat energy, shock launchers. We're going to want to get shock launchers for sure. I don't know if barrage is going to be that important. Barrage is a little bit later, and artillery is a little bit later. It's not so late where it's like, it's still kind of early. It's within the first... it's probably within the first week. Most people are going to start unlocking barrage. So, but we always see barrage kind of trail off towards once people start getting up to 5 engines. That's usually the cutoff for kind of the BART meta. What we just don't want to ever see is barrage very early on in the tech tree. barrage or artillery, because then it just comes down to how quickly can you spam missiles at this guy's engine room. You know, then that's no fun. You know, 5-second attacks, not fun. But yeah, so I think that's what things are gonna look like out of the gate, and then we kind of, you know, we start to end up looking down here, and we've got the good doctor, we got shock launchers, we got some beefier prototypes. Things are gonna start to get pretty interesting, and then at that point, as soon as your base starts to get pretty beefed up, you're gonna start seeing heavy choppers and bombers kind of take over. So for that, we're definitely gonna want the good doctor probably. He's typically the best with heavies and bombers. Maybe at the start of the heavy bomber meta, Brick might be better just purely for the speed. But then as the bases kind of, you know, get beefed up, that's when we're gonna want to look at switching back to Kavan just to get those troops back out and on the field. So guys, that's the Chickens plan for day one. Let me know what your plan is down below in the comment section. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That is gonna wrap up the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative, and we'll see you next one, guys. Chicken out. Back.